everybody, I'm Sharon Leave Alone, author of Girl Gone Glad, Revelations of a Midlife Single. Hey you, younger self, pull up a chair because you and me, we've got a lot to talk about.
Sometimes love leads you to a place where you never thought you'd be. I am a girl gone glad. There's just too much time in a day, said no one ever, until recently. Our current situation is forcing many of us to stay home and fill our days with otherwise mundane tasks that we may have been putting off for a while. I don't know about you, but for the first 2 weeks, I had adrenaline coursing through my veins as I tackled long overdue house projects. I painted and power washed my way through the days that seemed to fly by. By the third week, my enthusiasm started to wane, but like a real trooper, I carried on through days of isolation, cleaning out closets and sorting through clothes that I divided into the 3 piles that we've all come to know. Only this time, at this age, instead of piles of yes, maybe, and no, I opted for piles of yes, maybe, and never again in my wildest dreams. The adjustment was critical in order to avoid the temptation of changing my mind on one of those I still got it days. When I finished with the closets, I felt good and checked another task off my list. With week 4 just around the corner, I decided it was time to tackle the shoeboxes of old photos that never found their way into the albums I purchased nearly 20 years ago. You know, before digital photos took over and dinosaurs roamed the earth. One by one, I sifted through photos of my life that highlighted years of memories. As I revisited each decade and each hairstyle that went along with it, I started to think about a saying that we've all heard before. You don't know where you're going until you know where you have been. While I couldn't agree more, the quote does seem to be in opposition to the never look back recommendation that we hear so often. Isn't it necessary to look back in order to know where you've been, therefore where you're going? If while driving in your car you hit something, don't you look in the rearview mirror to see what it was? Maybe a pothole that can be avoided the next time you drive down that street, or maybe the road is so damaged that you avoid it altogether. As I stared into the eyes of my younger self, I couldn't help but think about what advice I'd have for her, having learned and lived for decades beyond her innocence and naivety. I'd tell her to trust her instincts, to listen to herself above all others, and to never tolerate anyone who mistreats her in any way. I'd tell her to pay close attention to people's actions more than their words, that lust is very different than love, and that she better learn the difference before getting into a relationship. I'd tell her that she was always enough, smart enough, pretty enough, funny enough, and talented enough. I'd tell her she's going to be fine, and I'd give her a big hug for hanging in there when some who claimed to love her tried to kick her down. But most of all, if I had to choose just one thing to tell her, one vital piece of information that would be crucial in the well-being of her future self, I would beg her to please don't succumb to the big hair and sideburn trend of 1986. I am a girl gone glad.